Hey guys, welcome to this post. Now, this is the first video in this whole blog post series, and what I'm going to talk to you about is exactly how I formulate my content, put my content together from the idea phase through to research, through to putting together authority content and actually putting it into a blog itself. And at the end of it, there's going to be a really cool call to action for you guys, okay? So if you haven't got a blog site already, there's going to be a wicked call to action which you can utilize to set up your own blog site as well, okay? So this first video is all about how I literally map out the process, okay? So this is just me on the fly, holding, I'm not on a stand or nothing today, guys, okay? Because I'm just going to show you on my board exactly the process I go through when I first think of even doing a blog, okay? Now, up to this point, I would have already done research. I want you to appreciate that much, but I will show you exactly how I research my blog posts later on down the line in further posts. But this is very important now, so let me flip this around for you guys, okay? So you can see exactly what it is I'm talking about. So this here is normally this would be post-it notes, by the way, but I've run out of post-it notes. I've had to use bits of paper with a little bit of sticky tape, okay? But I wanted to do this post for you today, guys. So I've just gone with this today, okay? But the general idea of how I do this remains exactly the same. Now, the idea behind this post was the first point here: how content marketing can lead to sales. And this is something that people are asking me about all the time. So the first thing I've done is I went through all my research and I literally mapped out, I just got my ideas and I threw them all out, okay? I put them all out there, okay? Now, I like to use different colours because it breaks up the content in front of me and I find it easier to process. But if you want to use the same colour, go nuts. But these were just literally points I drew from all my research, which I could use to formulate one really cool post, consolidating everything I've found online. I've done this combined with the stuff I know myself. It's going to make for a really good post now, okay? So you'll see that all this stuff here has got little ticks and crosses and asterisks and stuff in it, sorry, stars on it and all this, and this is going to come apparent in a minute because this is just me brain dumping, okay? So I literally throw everything onto the board at this point. Then from there I start to pick apart the content itself, okay? I start to think, okay, what would be good here? And what I discovered, because I was just going to write one post on this initially, but what I discovered was actually this falls into a couple of different categories. You've got stuff with a purple tick here, which is all stuff, all points which draw on exactly why content marketing is so effective, but things you really need to consider when you're going into it, okay? Because a lot of people go into it a little bit blind and it's not as sexy as people think, okay? There's a lot of hard work goes into content marketing. So that's this post here. You can see it on the left hand side now from this point here, point 1 all the way down to point 7. These points are exactly the same as here. So you can see here, main goal, add value, help someone, problems to solutions. That's the main goal. That's what we want to do here. It's got a purple tick because that is the first point in my post. That's the first thing I'm going to outline to people because that is ultimately why we're doing this. Then ignore this for the minute. Then as you come down, the second point I'm going to cover in my post is this: you're in control of your own blog. Where is that on here? Here you go, you're in control of your own blog. So you can see I literally find what I want on here. The main thing is this, okay, so I'm going to put that up here as the first point. I'm going to tick that off. What's the second point? What makes most sense? And I do that same process and I break everything down until I've got 7 points. Now it could be 5 points, 3 points, 10 points, whatever you want, but that is basically what's going to make up my post. Now you'll see here, I've got to the right of it, the more value you offer, the longer someone stays on your site. Now this is a very key point which I want to get on here, okay, because it ties in with adding value, okay? And this here is, where is it? Here, on top right. And I've done that with an orange tick because I know I've used that now as a key point within that paragraph, okay? Then what I discovered was actually I've got loads of points which are still uncovered, still untouched. So I put a green star on all the points that were left over, and I looked back at it and I thought, okay, what have I got here? And then the first thing that stuck out to me was how to write authority content, okay, how to put a blog post together. That's a second blog post in itself, guys. So what I've done now is I've put this down here. This is the second post, okay, this is the second post. So you can see here how to write authoritative content. That's the title of the post. Then I'm going to go into, okay, different points which come under that. Researching, okay. Offer something different. I'm going to go into these in a lot more detail, guys, so don't worry about this now, but this is the basic premise of how I set this up. So the research phase, this is what I'm going to go through in a lot of detail, how I research the post within this second blog post, because this isn't applicable here. This post on the left is purely talking about the benefits of content marketing and how you can truly utilize it, and the key points you need to look out for when you're doing it. This is breaking down the process now. Yeah, so then type of content, okay, video versus text. I've had a very interesting conversation with Chris Ducker on my podcast. For the guys that know Chris Ducker, he's incredible, and me and him talk about this a lot on that podcast, which will be coming out very soon, guys. But that's very important, okay, the type of content. And lastly, be you. Don't try and be anybody else, be you, okay. That's why that point's there. So this outlines how really what you need to look out for when you're putting content together, and how you go about getting your research, how you discover what sort of content you want to put in there, and things like being yourself is very important, okay. That's why I've put it in this post. But then it goes further, so I actually break down the process of putting the content together. So you've got the promise, bust a myth, establish your authority, the content itself, and this is a post point here, okay. Embed social triggers, okay, into post here, and then your last call to action, okay. So when we're doing this, guys, there's always a process we follow in every single post which keeps them engaged, which makes them want to read to the end, and then at the end we give them the final call to action. Yeah, and this stuff here isn't up on this board, but what it does do, it comes under this category here. When I truly break this down, I've broken it down into these 5 points, sorry. So this whole post is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 real points to it, okay, whereas this one's got 7. Yeah, then from here, the call to action from that post is going to be the free blog site build guide, okay, video tutorials and everything on how to set up a really cool blog site. So as you can see now, from taking one title from my research, brain dumping on the board, okay, and sometimes you might have more, sometimes you might have less. Don't get caught up on what's there, just brain dump, right? Then it's gone into, okay, the first post, then I've broken that down again and gone, okay, I can make another post out of this. So this is the first part, the second part, and then the third part, getting people into a blog site build guide. So there's a ton of value here. If I take that back now, there's a ton of value there that makes up one really cool process, which is going to get them into something that's going to help them get their word out online and start helping a lot of people. And then at the end of that post, guys, that's when, let's flip you around so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, and at the end of that post, guys, that's when I'm going to start doing upsells and bringing into paid content, working with myself if they want to do that. Programs I've got, online programs I've got. But at this point, I've offered so much value because all I'm trying to do here is help someone out. Yeah, and by doing that, by building their trust, they should technically want to invest in me later on down the line. But I've got to provide value first, which is where all this comes into action. So that's the first video, guys, in this post. Please keep reading on, because now we're going to go into the first part of the post, which is the actual benefits of content marketing itself.